Hey, Gerri, morning. Morning. How are you going?
Imy, it's good to see you. Imy, I have a couple of
Yes,
things to bring to the table
right. Good.
today. First, I feel that I must set the scene. The
Oh,
clinical
yes.
psychologist is
Oh,
surrounded by
good.
books,
Yes,
manuals,
yes.
self-care
Manuals.
treatises.
Oh, yes.
She feels overwhelmed and somewhat useless, but
Yes,
then she holds to a
yes.
truism by
Oh,
which she has
gosh.
organized her life.
Good,
Yes,
Gerri.
that ownership is knowledge. So just by
Okay.
ordering books from Book
Yes.
Depository or
Ah, yes.
Amazon or
Yes.
Booktopia, because I like to
Yes.
mix it up,
Yeah, yeah.
amongst
Don't
the
don't
sort
be
of,
bo- don't be boring. Not
multinationals, which are probably all the same. So
yes.
I have that issue to talk about, or I
Right.
actually have the books to talk about because
Oh, well.
don't die of shock here, but I've read some of, I mean, obviously not as many as I order, but
Yes.
some,
Right. No.
and of course, and ownership is knowledge. So some of them have kind of just gone through the covers into my head. And
Well,
yes,
so you've bought the book. Let me just do a recap. So you've thought,
okay.
right, trouble,
You're
trouble.
perhaps a little stunned by that. You have
I
you have
am.
not heard theory before.
No, no. I am familiar with the purchasing of skincare products and books as an antidote to an emotion. I am totally familiar with that. I know I'm close to the edge when I'm at the pharmacy going, do I need another wrinkle treatment cream? Probably, but is it going to work? Probably not. So I know I'm in trouble. But anyway, back to righto. So what have you been buying?
Yes. Well, I
Well,
continually buy self-care books so that I
I
can be skeptical about them,
okay.
and annoyed about them.
Right.
I buy memoirs because I feel that
Oh,
a memoir where anyone has had perhaps, or I don't know what my criteria is, 5 minutes of low mood, then the memoir becomes tax deductible for me, because
oh,
that's
brilliant.
psychology,
Added,
right?
yeah,
um,
yeah. It's performing your duties in your profession based. So tax deduction immediately. Yes, right. Good,
yes,
smart.
yes.
You're the thinking person.
So
Yeah. What have we
what
got?
I've got today is Emotional Female by
Oh,
Yumiko Kadota.
well
That
done.
is the searing portrait of a woman in medicine
Oh,
battling sexism,
okay.
overwork, and burnout.
Now you're getting
Uh,
warm.
it's also a revenge story of whoever did the
Excellent.
rosters of her hospital. It's
Rude.
actually really good.
Oh,
And
that does sound good. I'm
mm,
already feeling the
mm,
stirrings of life in the loins.
yeah. Is that where you feel stirrings of life,
Well,
when you
could
have a
be
good book?
hungry. It's unclear, but righto. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
That's.
yes. Always could be you just need a snack.
I just need a
Uh,
snack. Yeah. All right.
Now, I have also read, also a Japanese name, which is
Oh
intriguing.
yes.
I have read Burnout, Solve Your Stress
Oh,
Cycle by
great.
Emily and Amelia Nagoski.
Ah,
Now,
yes.
one of the reasons why I did read, I think I read like 90% of this. I only skipped one
Okay.
chapter.
Right.
So
Okay. Full disclosure. Righto.
they'll never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And well, what was particularly great about this book is the fact that I am just not desensitizing to this joke about the authors.
Ah,
Emily
yes.
Nagoski is the author of Come As You Are, the
Oh,
surprising new science that will
surprising.
transform your sex
Oh,
life.
oh
So,
God.
so
Okay, but what,
is,
we could
is,
definitely.
is absolutely is absolutely everyone got that Nirvana song in their head right now? I know I have. Yeah, so I like to think about that joke. And this book is the
Yeah.
only book on burnout that I have ever read
Oh.
that really clearly fingers the
Oh,
patriarchy.
rude. Oh,
says,
great.
look, it is worse for women.
Okay, let's have.
So I really admire that about.
Can we just have that title again,
book?
Gerri? I didn't manage to write that down.
Okay, Burnout, Solve Your Stress Cycle.
Solve Your
Emily
Stress Cycle.
and Amelia Nagoski. They are sisters.
Good.
Yes.
Right. Well, because stress, as you know, is such an aphrodisiac. It just really helps the old sex life when you're strung out on stress. It's the last thing you can think of at all is getting busy.
Another theory that I haven't heard before, but you know.
Okay.
Why?
Oh dear, I hope we're not having a tech day.
Why do you always want to talk about sex and nudity? Yes,
it
could be a tech day.
Oh well, we'll just struggle on. We'll struggle on. I don't know what we're going to.
Okay, but wait, there's more in me.
Yeah, I am. I'm ready.
By Brooke Mallory, we have Care, the radical art of taking time.
Radical art of taking time. Okay.
Just take a deep breath here.
Yes.
Brooke is not a psychologist, but Brooke has written a beautiful book. I have not read this. I've read maybe 5%, but Brooke, I'm here to read it more closely. It does look sensible and it does look practical, and there's beautiful graphic design.
Oh, lovely.
I've also listened to Brooke's podcast, and she's very about her own therapeutic journey, her own depression and her own need to see a psychologist. So I love that. I guess she's brought her whole person to this book. At least that's the sense I'm getting.
That's nice. Books are like people. We're like little people. You meet them as a person, sort of like a low rent friendship, maybe. Not a lot of investment on your part. well, because friendships can be demanding. Righto, we're trying to get a sense of, it depends on the friendship, I suppose. Righto,
yes.
So are you feeling in need of a bit of self-care, Gerri, or is it just what is driving the book purchasing?
It's been with me for maybe 30 years. So
I see.
I don't really think this is a new phenomenon.
It's a new thing. Righto.
Is it the need to purchase books, or
I love
right now? Yeah, right now on the surface, it appears to be a need to make fun of authors who are more successful.
Oh, great. So
and I am.
Jelly.
That's.
Oh, God.
In fact, I've never written a book, so I can therefore make fun of all authors, because all authors are more successful because they've actually written
something.
A book.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they got it done.
Yeah. Whoa, ouch.
Not that. Do we have some trouble starting and finishing things, Gerri? Is procrastination an issue for you? I suspect
perhaps
might be.
Productivity is, but I know that there's books for that.
There are books for that. You can read about how to deal with. Well, I've discovered that perfectionism and procrastination are very good friends. They always go together.
They are very good friends.
They got to put them in different corners. You got to anyway, righto.
Yeah, I have at least 2 excellent books on perfectionism.
And do they? Righto. Okay.
Yes, perfectionism is a transdiagnostic process in lots of mental health issues.
Look at that. So that's a massive word.
I also have a third. Good book on perfectionism, which is about perfectionism in children.
Wow. I'd love to hear how clinical psych feels about perfectionism, because in a way it's sort of like looking in the mirror. It's like,
perhaps it is, and perhaps it brings out the issue of mixed feelings.
Yeah,
because if I let my perfectionism go, will I achieve things? And it brings out it brings out the schema, the old the old adage that psychologists have 2 main schemas. They have the schema of unrelenting standards and the schema of self-sacrifice.
Oh,
And
great story. Let's hear about that. I was going to ask you to talk about schema therapy because I was like, great, we've got to get a sense of this language. I don't use
so
schema. Yeah, okay, so let's
what
go.
is a schema? I don't know. No,
Oh,
I do know. You're just putting me on the spot. A schema is a way of viewing the world, a way of
yes.
operating, a pattern.
Yes. Good.
It was forged usually in childhood, perhaps in adolescence or even later. And it was forged because some of your key needs didn't get met. And so operating in a certain way, viewing things in a certain way actually helped you at the time. And I think that that's really important.
Yeah.
But at the time, it helped, but now it's not helping so much. This pattern is perhaps causing a person harm or difficulty.
So we've got to review it. Yeah. Okay. Righto. Got it.
And that's your traditional Jeffrey Young schema therapy, but the newer approaches
quite intricate.
The modes to deal with the schema. And
okay, that's interesting. Good bit of language there.
Yes, yeah. So
I once sat in a schema therapy lecture run by a recently graduated clinical psych who lost us all with his intricate branching descriptions of how schemas work. And it was a bit like watching a telephone network be drawn on the whiteboard. And
yes,
I think that the way you described it sounds usable, but the way it was introduced to me did not sound easily usable unless you could think at that level. That's okay. Yeah. We live and learn. No, I get what you've described makes a lot of sense. I could probably even maybe use it.
And so where I might see schema in the therapy room or in the office is where there is a huge emotional reaction to a stimuli, and on the surface, this reaction does not make sense.
Wow.
So that it tends to be the activation of a schema. This is put in colloquial terms, but a schema will fight for life. It will fight back.
Yeah, right.
Because your schema is your way of viewing the world.
Yeah. Okay. And it was it was built in a life and death moment for you as a kid or in your developmental journey. It was a really significant emotional moment. It makes sense.
Or a repeated pattern where your needs didn't get met.
Okay, sure.
So the other focused schema of let's take a simple one. Like I don't understand all of them super well. In fact, it's probably better if you come and see me and you've only got certain schemas.
We do it. Right, I can't do that schema.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, righto.
Yeah,
that's out of my
remember the name.
Can't play that tune. Righto.
But approval seeking, because you can see approval seeking in quite a concrete way out there in the world. So people who want everyone to like them, people who really struggle hard at standard achievement, that kind of action, and that really it's exhausting. It may mean the person doesn't have a strong
oh dear
sense of their own identity. So I guess I'm not sure where I was going with that. Whereas approval seeking is easy to see. Yeah. And you can easily, I guess, surmise.
Because I think by the time you've been practicing I've wondered about this across all health professions anyway. I think the first 5 years out, you're still testing your skills. You're still doing what you basically learned how to, some kind of following a process. But somewhere between 5 years and 15 years, you start to generate your own style and your own way of grappling with concepts like schemas, which I think is like the second derivative of maybe the School of Object Relations, I think. So I'm a bit of a first principles sort of person anyway. And I would kind of tackle that arena using object relations instead, which just also includes the role of the other looking at you. Anyway, I don't know where we're going with this at the moment, but I feel like we've got to anchor what we're talking about. It might come up in the future. Yeah, it's like a derivative of object relations theory, I think. Schemas, isn't it? Cognitive.
I can let you know my favourite schema therapy books.
Yeah, go.
Some of which I've read.
Oh, great. Okay, good.
So, I mean, I think, although it is huge, Jeffrey Young's book on schema therapy is highly readable and easily digestible. It's a big favourite of mine. It's almost like, this is just going to sound insane, it's almost like a recreational read, right?
That's quite an achievement for something as dry as cognitive therapy.
Yeah. And there is a self-help version of that, which is called Reinventing Your Life. And that's also really good.
Right.
Then there is the Breaking Your Patterns of Negative Thinking by Arnold Ernst. And it's not about breaking your patterns of negative theory. It's about schema mode work and in a self-help environment. There's also a manual, which I can see it from where I'm sitting. If I read it, no. It's just sitting there reminding me of my own inadequacies. It is called Schema Therapy from the Inside Out, and it's not the fault of the book that it hasn't been read. Anyway.
Okay, so I
ownership it's not the fault of the authors either. So,
righto. Okay. So wait, what do we? I wonder if I should tell you about the dream I had last night. I had a dream about you last night, which is not unusual. Well, because I noticed a while ago, I don't know exactly when, it must have been shortly after I started working for myself, there's this weird synchronicity that happens between some of my dreams and the person I might see that day. But the thing is, when I dreamed about you, Gerri, you didn't look at all like you. You looked like a young, gorgeous thing who was 30 years old, swanning about in St Kilda, and we had an appointment at the bar at what used to be the bathhouse. It's now a public pool. It's lovely. It's heated, salt water. It's awesome. Not that anyone knows where St Kilda is. Anyway, we were going shopping. And you were very glamorous in my dream. You had long hair. You did, you were swan. Everything, you looked slim, all gorgeous, like you top. Was
that still me?
No, well, see, this is the confusing part. You didn't look like you. I don't know what this means. I've got to work it out. And then we're talking about self-care this morning and perfectionism, sort of, although we're not naming it, sort of talking about it. So I'm not clear what the damn dream means yet. And I woke up, I was like, how am I going to work this in? So I just find sharing dreams in therapy is a good thing to do, because it doesn't seem to have a direct, helpful point, but it does do something. So I'm not sure. It was something like, you were saying that you didn't want to do something anymore, something that was bothering you. Like, you're like, I can't do it anymore. I want to do something else. I'm like, okay. I'm like, God. And the feeling I had was, here we go again. I have no idea. This is probably not, maybe the you in me who doesn't even look like you. I don't know. We'll work it out. But you were wearing very glamorous, and I thought I was talking to you. Really weird, isn't it? It's probably about me. We'll work that out in a minute. Righto. Wow. So I don't know what it's about, but there's a clue in there about something. There's a bit of a clue.
So the essence I'm picking up emotionally is that you were impatient with me.
Am I? Gosh, gee, if I am, I have to work on that, because that's not ideal, is it? Yeah, I might be. That's a very good point. How could I be impatient with you, though?
I've no idea. Possibly.
You were like, I didn't want to do something, and you were like, I've had enough. But it was more like, it was like something going on in your life, even though you didn't look like you, that you're just done with it. You're just done with something. Maybe, Gerri, I'm talking about this like it's you. It's really the you in me, and maybe there's a bit of overlap there. Maybe there isn't. Who knows?
Maybe there's a little bit of me in everyone.
Well, there's probably some truth to that. But anyway, whatever the case,
the person who has too many snacks and buys too many books.
So, okay, let's go back to the book thing maybe, because I feel like we've got a bit more to say about that. Right. So do you find purchasing a book is enough, Gerri? Is it enough?
Well, it's obviously not enough.
It's not enough.
It seems to be repeated
It's repeated. Okay. Righto.
And where the rubber hits the road, you can tell why this is on my mind is because tax time. Of course, I go and see my beautiful accountant. Maybe I should not reveal her real name, or maybe I should because she is wonderful.
Oh, gosh. You got a wonderful,
praises me for having my little receipts all in line, and I get to feel sort of competent and organised, which never happens.
Yes. So, that is a lovely feeling. It's so brief and fleeting, but it's a nice feeling.
Yes. So you go to the accountant and you get all your little receipts in line and then give it to her and she can feed back to you how much you have spent on books.
Okay. And what is the revealing amount generally indicating for you in your life, Gerri?
So you're really pinning me down here.
I know. We're just having a focusing moment. We're just focusing on it gently. We can come away if it's not the right moment.
It's very outcome focused. It's not a problem. I can stop any time I want.
Just trying to speak your language. I want us to be connected and feel some empathy because I'm just trying to speak the language. I'm showing you I'm not really in the club, but I understand the need for evidence-based, outcome-focused work. I'm trying to make you feel comfortable.
Yes. Okay. You're exactly right. It is. Yes. And sometimes it is about outcomes. Sometimes it is about the behaviour. Anyway. Well, it's a lot of time. It's about those things. So the last few years, it's been $1,000.
Oh, that's not too bad, is it? Is that terrible? Is it?
It's a lot of books. And
it's a lot of books. Actually, that is a lot of books.
So the years before that, it was, much less. It was about $900. No, it was not significantly less.
That was so much less.
So it's stable. It's stable over the years.
Wow. What do you do with all your? I'm running out of bookshelves. I've got to get more. Where do they go? The books. Oh.
But yes, from this, there is a storage problem. So a lot of them kind of lie around just so I can get the knowledge via osmosis.
Yeah, I try that too.
And a lot of them are in bookcases.
Oh, yes.
And some of them are at work. And some of them are at my other work. Oh, and some of them are kind of, how like you might have skincare or makeup on high rotation. Some of them are on high rotation, so they might be carried around with me in a little trolley. Do you want to know the trolley's name?
Yeah, all right,
Sometimes the trolley is called Clara when I'm feeling sophisticated and European, and sometimes the trolley is called Denise.
I love both those names. They're really gorgeous names, Clara and Denise. Different characters, I feel. One's maybe a bit more sturdy. Not sure which one.
The trolley appears to have varying personalities.
Right. So, Gerri, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this question so that we remain friends. So what do we think about
heavy?
So I'm just thinking there's sort of a doing element to the book reading. The book is giving ideas, I'm assuming, but there's a sort of translation into action part. So how does that go? Yeah, quiet. Very quiet.
So what is happening? What is happening? Well, I mean,
it's right.
I don't know how to answer that question. Okay. I could say maybe books are part of my self-care. Maybe books are part of my learning. Maybe everybody's got something, right? Maybe When I was younger, I owned
Oh, yes.
47 lipsticks.
Did you?
So
How do you
perhaps
use
my
them all?
diagnosis de jour.
Well, okay.
I'm
So
really sensing some judgment here.
no judgment. More just sort of unintentional bafflement. I'm just. It's not so much judgment. It's just like a cognitive processing issue. It's like because I'm thinking 47 lipsticks.
Mind blown.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that out. I wouldn't know what to do with them all. I forget all the colors to start with. There's really. Do you not find, especially with lipsticks, it's like your favorite. It's like underwear. You've got a favorite, come on, and a bra. Everyone's got a favorite bra. And that bra gets worn and all the others don't because there's issues around, digging.
Yes. Or as I was saying
like,
about, Clara and Denise and books.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say a favorite, but I would say a high rotation, as the makeup YouTubers like to say. What's in my makeup bag?
Oh, you watch a bit of YouTube makeup? God, that's so
yeah.
funny. I have done that in the past. I'm not doing it currently. Not
you
saying
need to do it so that I can look glamorous in your dreams. That's
Well, you did look glamorous actually. So there we go. There's a little clue there. We're talking about makeup. So just with you going back to your trolley, is it like sort of a security blanket thing, Gerri? You want to take your trolley around with you with all your books, or?
I think it possibly could be. I think.
Okay. Do you take your trolley to work? Do you take your trolley with all your favourite books to work? You do.
Not every day and not every workplace, but
so
the trolley goes. Yes, more
with
often
you.
than not.
It just comes with you.
Yes.
I love the trolley. I think it's nice. I feel like you like having the trolley there. I feel like
I do.
Yes. Is it like your Porter libraries? It's like
it's like my Porter library.
I've got it. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Gee. Oh man, that's one of the advantages of not having to lug all your crap to a practice location and work from home. Yeah, man, that's annoying. So do you do a lot of referring to books in the work? You do a lot of do you have to pull out manuals all the time? Do you? Yep.
I sometimes, and also sometimes there might be a therapeutic moment where I need to whisk something off a shelf.
Do you? I do.
I enjoy that.
You do a bit of whisking.
Isn't that enjoyable? Isn't that satisfying? Sorry, of course, everyone and Imy, that it is only satisfying if it is useful for the client, but sometimes it really is. And because I buy so many books, I think there's some really interesting questions here just on the books. I know this isn't at a deeper level, but which are the ones which are in high rotation? Which are the ones that are most useful? I shall reveal that very soon.
Yes, please reveal that.
The other question is what have my repeat purchases been? So what have the purchases been that I've bought this book more than once, either because I've given it to people or either because I've just needed more than one copy?
Gosh, you're funny. Okay, I'm getting a sense of what this book thing's about for you. I'm getting a sense of what it is. See, Gerri,
do you want to hear the repeat purchases?
Okay, let's have the repeat purchases first of all. Yep, let's go with that.
The repeat purchases are Carolyn Webster Stratton, Professor of Psychology at University of Washington, and her book is lovely. It is
What's it about?
The Incredible Years. It is about parenting of children up to the age of 8. So it's a very warm-hearted book, but it has, really, really great practical. It's written for the public. It's not a therapist book, but it's still very beautiful and of great use. And I recommend that to everyone.
That's what a beautiful thing to write about. That's a lovely subject to write about. Yeah.
Yeah. And she does it really well. So that's high rotation, repeat purchase. Going to have to purchase it again because I do need to recommend it to people because I think that highly of it, but I do need to have it for myself too.
Yeah.
So that's one. The other repeat purchase has been How to Quit Brooding. It's about rumination. It's about intrusive thinking, and I should get the exact title because it's a tricky book to look up on Amazon, and it's actually translated out of Swedish, I think. It's Ole Hallström, and it's a rumination OCD book, and it's fantastic. So that is my repeat purchases. And then on the next level down, we've got the high rotation books. We have Ruminative Thinking for Depression by Edward Watkins. Again, it is both professionally useful but can be an interesting recreational read. And I once went to a conference and met a super attractive Belgian man who said he read this book in one weekend. That's right. Already thought you were attractive.
And now you read as well. Catnip, Gerri, catnip.
Favorite of mine. And then I thought to myself, if I were 30 years younger,
which you were in my dream.
Too old for you. Yes.
That could be a thing, though. That's a thing for some of us. Being a cougar, that's not terrible. Right. Okay.
Hello. I thought we were having a serious conversation.
We are having a serious conversation. I'm just trying to tap into what you're. So this happened in group last night. Sometimes group fluffs around, right? And not that we're fluffing around, but but then we got stuck into it, and we had people talking about falling into quicksand and the nothing from the never-ending story, and clowns, which was terrifying for half the group. And when this happens in group, it's like there's something in the background that is making us a bit nervous. So we're just hanging on to stuff we know. So we feel like we're safe. And I think part of what is going on is like, what do books do? They translate things into words, into signifiers, into the logos. They make things clear. So I feel like there's a bit of a clue there, maybe. Anyway, carry on. Just a brief moment of noticing and I'm also trying to figure out what's going on between us today. And I feel like there's a bit of, I don't know, sort of apprehension or something. I don't know.
But
is there?
You're not totally without books.
Oh no, I love a book. I love books.
Or dedication to books.
Yeah, I feel there's an accuser in the room now.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
No, I'm not accusing. I'm just
I'm
wondering. I mean, what are your book purchasing habits, functional or otherwise?
That's a really good question. See, Gerri, I don't know if this is true of all counselling psychologists, but I think there's an idea of using yourself as the vehicle for transformation in the therapeutic work. So books inform that, I suppose you might say, but you have to sort of absorb the knowledge into and integrate it into your growing self or growing understanding. So I suppose I used to read an awful lot before I was about 35, but then something happened there. It could have been my eyesight. It might have been a level of coherence that sort of settled in my being. And I was able to use myself without needing books to build me. But it might just be a style of working. I don't know. Like I know some people are way more cognitive in their approach. They want systems. They want diagnostic tools. They want structure. They're structure heavy in the work, whereas I'm way more fluid in the style that I use. So I started to read like in disciplines like I'm a herbalist as well, so I would have read a truckload of books on herbal medicine and But then after a while, it's sort of the knowledge seems to settle into a congruent approach, schema perhaps even, like something congruent settles. And that yearning and that drive for knowledge turned into more of an exploration, personal exploration of the dream time, I would say, or the collective unconscious, whatever you want to call that. Because there's, my understanding of the dream time, that you can use many words for this, the collective unconscious, the morphogenetic field. It's like a field of information or knowledge. And I think books can represent things that are digestible versions of that. But experiential living or just experience can inform that as well. Like just sitting out in nature, like tapping into a tree, dreaming with the tree, that'll give you some information, which is, it's like a little conversation you're having. Like I've got a lemon tree out the front, right? Maya lemons, if anyone, is the best lemon tree. Everyone in my neighbourhood's got a lemon tree. Everyone's a lemon tree. So we had to have one when we moved in. So we went up to the nursery, got the lemon tree, put the lemon tree in the garden, and nothing happened for a good 7 years, right? The tree was nervous, I sensed. The tree was like, not sure what to do. I'm a lemon tree, but I'm not doing lemons. So anyway, I started talking to the tree and encouraging the tree, saying, every time I walk by the tree, I go, you can do it. We're going to have lemons this year. Woo! It's easy to grow lemons. What a fun idea. And what was happening is our local possum kept eating the flowers. Anyway, coincidentally, the possum moved on to the next life and promptly died at the footsteps.
Possum went to possum heaven.
Well, we've got possums around the place.
Lots of easily accessible garbage bins.
Yes, well, we had to exit. Possum was called Basil after Basil Fawlty, which is a whole other thing because he used to eat everything and was quite loud and noisy. Anyway, so Possum was rehoused. Possum came back, died at the front doorstep, and the next 6 months, our lemon tree started producing lemons. So I'm not sure if it was what exactly was the causal variable there, but it could have been me talking to the tree. There could have been a weird synchronicity between all of the events that went on. Anyway, now we've got lemons, and the tree looks different because it's covered in lemons, which are really good. Anyway, so so weird things like that show up in my work. So like I often get a sense of somebody before they come, like whatever the emotional impact of whatever they're present to, like whatever turmoil's going on, I sort of feel it like it's mine in my life until I've met the client, and then, we start working, and it is the weirdest experience when you get really deeply into what goes on between you and a client or you and the person you're working with. It's like, it's a very interesting dynamic book. I really think people are like books. They walk in, and we start on to page one, but it's like a never-ending story potentially. And I love that. I just dig that a lot. Anyway, so I tell you, I do. I've got books, but not kind of moved on from. I'm on my own. What's the word? I'm in a landscape in psychology, I think, at this point that's right on the edge of what people are able to articulate, I would say, at the moment, where I am trying to learn. I'm talking to plants and they do things. It's really weird. And it's just a weird process. The lemons for... everything, man. Just you want to stick lemons on everything. Well, my lemons have this. They're sort of somewhere between an orange and a lemon. They've got really soft skins, and they're just the most gorgeous. If you had a Maya lemon, you would not look back, Gerri. You'd be like, we're going to get the tree. We're going to nurture the tree. We're going to put it in the garden. And they just cover.
Wow.
I know. So just go out there and get a lemon for dinner or whatever. It's great. And the pots, because they've got past the possums eating the flowers. Anyway. Important. What are we talking about?
Wow, this is I'm thinking of, I don't know what we're talking about, but what we're thinking about is the slice of lemon in a gin and tonic.
Oh, you see relaxation again. I was looking at a few podcasts run by psychologists, which it's tempting to sort of diss, isn't it? But anyway, somebody has advertised their podcast with the side of gin. So I think there is this thing with psychologists that, like, alcohol, it's an easy way to chill, relax, isn't it? So this issue of like, how do you balance the work with, because the work is so demanding, Gerri. It's just off the charts demanding, off the charts.
It is off the charts. I don't have a problem with alcohol, but I'm absolutely fascinated by memoirs of people who do or did.
Oh, yes.
May I recommend, just off the top of my head, Alcohol, a Love Story. What else? Marion Keyes has got a good one about that. Sorry, obviously I'm talking about fiction there, not memoir.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, it's drawn on experience.
So, yes, a source of fascination.
Well, so self-care, I mean, psychologists, the professional body is always banging on about self-care, right? Like it's the thing you got to try and do.
Yeah, and it's okay to be skeptical about that, because is it just a tool of capitalism to try and get us to buy scented candles? No offense to scented candles.
No, they're awesome. Vanilla will make you hungry. Vanilla candles, they smell gorgeous, but they will make you hungry. And then there's snacking, isn't there? That's the other way to do self-care, is snacking.
Yes.
Look, I reckon the only way I reckon you get longevity out of working as a psychologist is you have to, the work has to become meaningful to you personally. So, like for example, do you get runs of clients? Like every now and then I get a patch of the same thing, exactly the same story, or the same particular emotional dilemma, and usually when that happens, there's something going on inside me that I'm not paying attention to. I need to do a bit of work on. Like I can't think of a good example, but when you've resolved, do you have that happen? Like, do you get like a run of clients?
It definitely happens, and I don't know about my mind, but I know my back really likes it. My back likes it because less books can be on high rotation.
Less books. Oh, yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a good example of this. I'm not thinking. Nothing's jumping into my mind. Okay. Oh, I've got one. This is a big Australian story. Probably the world. Okay, so how do we digest this quickly? All right, so the dynamic. We were talking a couple of episodes ago or in sessions ago about bullying culture in Australia, and I'm sure I think everybody who's ever been human understands what it means to be bullied. But I've noticed in Australia, I think the bullying thing can descend into the object relations that have comprised the person's mind. I know you want to use the language of schema therapy, but I don't know how to do that as adeptly as you would. So I'm going to go back to object relations. So inside their inner world, they've got an abuser, a bully, and the one that gets bullied. And these are probably kind of very big schemas, but you could also call them roles. And what I've noticed is if you take the role of the one being bullied, that role usually is associated with vulnerability on some level. So if you speak from a place of vulnerability, it immediately activates, I've noticed a lot in the counselling room, but also I think in our culture, it activates the bully. And it's just like this habit, pattern, game, transaction, relational way of doing things. And if the person who's being the bully is not able to be self-reflective, it just turns into a potentially violent episode. So being vulnerable or speaking from a place of vulnerability will trigger this role unless you've integrated the bully. So I guess that pattern shows up a lot, or has shown up a lot. And it was showing up a lot until I worked that out. So I was like, I've got to integrate that bully. I've got to find the bully in me and try and get a sense of don't reject them. Does that mean anything to you, Gerri? Let's have a bit of water. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I'm going I'm going further with that. I'm thinking, do I let myself be bullied by my books?
Okay, yes, let's start there. Good one.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
well, do your books tell you off in a way? Like, do they get the finger out? Oh,
yeah,
no.
my books are constantly telling me off.
What do they say? Gerri,
They're
you're not doing enough self-care.
No, they're saying you're not. The books are actually very quiet. I will.
Yeah. No, we're playing a little game.
We're speaking symbolically here. The books say you don't know enough. You need to read me.
Okay, interesting.
And you are not working hard enough if you don't read me.
Okay, so that bloody critic sits in those pages, doesn't he?
It does a little. There's both the critical parent and the support.
We call the critic Frank in group. That's what his name, Frank. With the critic, when he shows up, we've got to put him in a seat. He's called Frank.
That would be difficult if anyone called Frank actually did join the group.
We don't have anyone called Frank. If we had someone called Frank, we'd have to call them Frank too, because we have two persons in group with the same name. So one of them's no, it sounds terrible. They agreed on it, right? It was self-determined before everyone freaks out. We've got Frank 1 and Frank 2. I suppose Frank 1's the critic. So, but the critic and the bully are very close. You know, they can be very, very close. The abusers and inner critics can be really close, Gerri. What do we think of? Oh, it's a bit edgy or something happened there. Maybe it was just for me. And I'm still trying to work out what that dream. Well, in my dream, you, who was age 30, very glamorous, and to be fair, looked more like an actress probably I've seen. But anyway, very beautiful. You'd had enough of doing something. You were like, I'm not doing that anymore in my dream. And I'm wondering what that might be and whether it's even meaningful. I'm assuming there's something in it. If nothing else, it's a talking point.
It doesn't sound like us to be in that secret suburb and going to the swimming pool. Like, not that I don't like swimming pools, but that secret suburb is well known for its cake shops. Wouldn't we be there?
Oh, weird thing. I would be there. No, except it's probably got gluten in it, so I'm probably not allowed. But yeah, I don't know. Well, it had a bit of a Queensland vibe about it, maybe because it's near the beach, right? So, and that it was summer clothes you were wearing, very glamorous, but you just had enough of something. Is there a feeling? Do you feel that inside you, Gerri? Somewhere, I've had enough of something. I'm done with something. Is there a feeling of that, or just no? Just say no if there isn't a feeling of that. Is there any?
No, there is that feeling.
Yeah, like I've just had enough of something. But what is the something, I'm wondering? You know?
I do have some ideas, but we need to save that for another time.
All right. Well,
even you asking me that has been helpful because it's not the books. I haven't had enough. I'm not ready to stop. And maybe I never will be.
That doesn't seem like a terrible thing.
Always have a lot of books.
Yeah.
Because I'm essentially talking about something that's enjoyable.
Oh my God. Books are like friends. They're very hard to get rid of. I have a story about a sociopath who came for treatment. Oh God, this happens every now. No, maybe I'm exaggerating. They could have just been an extreme narcissist, but there was something violent about them. Anyway, they came into my consulting room, which also happens to be at my home because it's easier. Anyway, I have a variety of books on the shelf, and some of them are from my youth, and they're not so academic, not so highbrow. Anyway, this student, well, it was sort of a student. It was maybe going to be my student. No, it didn't happen that way. Anyway, he came in and started perusing my bookshelf in manner of wolf, assessing the weak, vulnerable members of the herd. and he started picking at all my books. And I said, well, I explained some of them are from when I was younger. But, just like more young person titles. But I can't let go of them because they're like friends. I've tried to. Just you think about them. Oh, I need to get my friend back and put him on the shelf. Anyway, he was really trying to put my books down and see if he could wheedle in and get a reaction. And he said, don't feel bad about your books. And I said, I don't. Would you like to sit down? And that was, so you know how narcissists, I think it's that sociopathic edge that their main modus operandi of connecting to you is to try and put you down.
To neg, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, negging, yeah, that's why, yeah. Somebody else called it negging.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's what's going on is it's almost like a biblical battle, like it's a very strange phenomenon where they're sussing you out, they're sensing more than your mind, more than your body. They're sensing, I don't know what you'd call it, your spirit, something more than your biology. And you can feel this person is getting ready to attack you. So, yes, books protect from that, I suppose. Or mine did that day. Even the ones from my youth.
Yes.
The pop psychology
How
books.
Intriguing.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. And why would anyone feel bad about the books on their shelves?
No, because I've got some great titles. Like I've got The Fairy Oracle, Wisdom of Fairy Tales, How to See Fairies. All these sorts of things are really interesting to me. And so I was looking at those kind of books and going, I just quickly glanced over my left shoulder. And what else we got? Women Who Run with Wolves. That's been read a few times.
It's a classic, yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
I have not, in fact, read it.
Yep.
I do have a place to end, and
fittingly,
it is with a book recommendation.
Okay.
There is not many books that talk about institutionalized bullying in Australia.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But there is one. There is a new title, and it hit our society with a searing freshness. It is See What You Made Me Do by Jess. If I could remember Jess's last name, this would be even more powerful.
Jess Hill. Her name's Jess Hill.
Jess Hill, yes.
I've got a story about her too.
Oh, I've read maybe 85% of that book, and I thought it was top notch.
Yeah,
it is about domestic violence, but it is she's getting there. Sorry, who are we to criticize Jess? Jess is probably
I'll criticize her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, because I ran a forum in 2020 on women and violence, and her book had just come out. And the week before we ran the forum, Hannah Baxter. Do you remember what happened in Queensland?
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
So this happened the week before the forum, which is not related to Jess Hill at all. But I did approach her a number of different ways to ask her if she would be able to speak at the forum, and like you might say, she's too important, too journalistic, whatever, to based in Sydney. But she was actually quite strange. Like I can't explain more than that. She was very strange, which was totally incongruent with the subject she was writing about. So I don't know what to make of that. She was attending similar events in other places, but she just was. It was just very. I can't tell you what happened. It was very strange. I did end up speaking with her, but she was very, very.
Maybe
odd.
she was self-protective. Hey.
The cognitive dissonance sets in, and it's hard to sort of not succumb to it. But I don't know. There was something contradictory about her that didn't quite make sense given the subject. And there's a doco she's just been part of on SBS at the moment, which I haven't watched. But yeah, look, the subject she's writing about is really, really important. But I just found it strange how she didn't respond. It just was odd. I can't understand it, basically.
Yeah.
Like I would have expected some kind of protocol even to say like no or whatever, but it was just very odd. She was we've got to go for now, but anyway, it's hard to clarify that.
Yeah, I mean, my hypothesis is that as people...
Oh, man, tech.
So...
Oh, dear. Oh, well.
We have lots to think about, and I, as always, have lots to read. So I will scurry off and do that.
Not to worry. Okay, well, I'll see you later, Gerri.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.